Over the past year, I've been missing in action, MIA. And so in this video, I'm going to go through where I've been, what I've been doing, why I decided to leave, and a whole bunch of other shit. Initially, I decided to leave for just 2 weeks just to clear my head from all the noise because there was some things going on in my personal life. You know, I wasn't really sure what I was doing, and I just wanted to take a step back and examine like where I was going and like what I was really doing. So I did this, and I really only planned to leave for 2 weeks, but it didn't really turn out that way. And so yeah, in this video I'm gonna go through why it is that I've been gone for so long, and yeah, like what I've been doing, where I've been, and will I return, all this kind of shit. So yeah, I was out for that 2 weeks, and it got me thinking, just examining where I was headed. Like at the time I was working to get into the digital art industry in terms of being a 3D artist. I actually got pretty good at this. I was one of the top of my class, and that's just a fact. I'm not bragging. You can check out my ArtStation and everything. You can check that out. It's pretty sick. It's pretty good. Check it out. But what I realized is I started checking YouTube, and I saw that all these like digital art generators, and you can probably see where I'm going with this. The video generator Sora and other like various AI generators like DALL-E and all these companies, basically I kind of looked at it and it's like the writing on the wall for the digital art industry. I was like, shit, so what am I gonna do? So I decided to look for some alternatives, and after some searching, what I realized is that there was this opportunity where I could get into a Masters of Artificial Intelligence, Machine Learning. And so the only thing was, it was going to take like a lot of sacrifice on my behalf. I'll talk about that later in this video. Essentially, it's quite a mathematics heavy subject. And look, my mathematics level basically went down to, I felt like halfway through year 9, because that was when I started convincing my tutor to do my maths homework for me. And so look, at school, I was a good kid, you know. I never like got in trouble or anything because I never got caught. You got to understand, like at school, I wasn't even the bad kid. I was the liability. My English teacher started calling me babe. I don't know if that was like a strategy to get me to focus, but if it was ineffective. Check. But yeah, so what did this mean for me? It meant that at the end of that 2 weeks, I was like, fuck, I can't go back. I'm gonna somehow teach myself mathematics to a master's degree level, and I don't really like working with teachers. That's when I made the call, when I decided to, you know, just basically withdraw and focus. But I couldn't focus entirely on just learning mathematics because I still had the bachelor's degree to work on as well, and that was also one of the requirements is like for the master's degree. I had to get a decent GPA in that. My time was kind of divided from then on, and I spent all of my free time, I didn't have any free time, but basically all of my waking hours that I didn't have to do essential things like, you know, fucking eating and sleeping. And so I started to, just focus entirely on study. I'm gonna go into some specifics later on in this video as to like why I decided to go so hardcore on just like entirely focusing on this, and maybe it'll make sense to some of you, maybe it won't. Anyway, the initial aim was to complete by the end of 2024, because that's when my like bachelor's degree would end, and then I could just like flow straight into that. But really, like, I had no idea how long it was going to take me to do this, particularly like without any help from anyone. And so yeah, I did not hit that first objective, and by the time that rolled around, the end of 2024, I was still like not even halfway through the course, despite having like spent like all of my spare time on doing this and cutting out most contact with family, all contact with friends, any kind of entertainment was cut out except for things that I had to do, like that I could do simultaneously. Like if I'm cooking, then I'll listen to a podcast. That's entertainment. At that point, I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I'm only halfway through this. I got the letter of denial into the course. I'm like, there's only a few more months that I'm gonna be able to focus on this for a number of reasons. And so I realized that I'm gonna have to go even more hardcore. And so I decided to plan out a stretch of 2 months, like a period of 2 months where I was just gonna cut contact with literally everyone, and that like so hardcore to the point where I moved out of my house to a different location, so I didn't have to talk to my roommates, and I didn't have to Like I just cut all contact like as much as I could, because obviously like there's bills and shit that I gotta deal with, and so yeah, and that's what I came up with a new term for this. See, most people they do monk mode or they do ghost mode. I did monk ghost mode. I coined that term. You heard it here. You hear anyone else say it, just punch them in the face, because unless they cite me, I'm the citation. So yeah, essentially that's basically where I've been. I mean, that's just one of the things that I've been doing. It's like probably the predominant thing though, and the only one that I'm going to talk about here. So Merry Christmas. And look, you may say, Rap, I could have done mathematics easy. I could have done it easy. It's so easy for me. In this part of the video, I'm going to go through some of the logic that I used to make the decision that I made to go missing in action. And so I'm going to break this down the way that I think about it, and probably a lot of you won't understand, but those of you who do, this really changed a lot for me. The way I thought about it is like this. Say that this circle right here, this is, fuck that shit, that should be black. Yeah. Say that this circle, this is you. This is you. This is basically you, all of your actions, your entire life, everything about you. This is fucking you. This is you right here. Let's say the things that you're doing, perhaps over here you've got your family. It's like meeting with them, talking to them, all of that. So you've got, I don't know, your friends. You've got your friends over here. I'm a really good artist. Don't get distracted. Over here, let's say you've got going to, I don't know, events, E. Over here you've got your health, H. Over here you've got, I don't know, what are you doing? Computer games? Netflix? We're just gonna call this one bullshit. BS. Alright, this is everything about you, this is what you're doing. But you decide that there is something that you want to do. Maybe it's, I don't know, teaching your dog how to shit outside. Maybe it's learning how to dance. Maybe you want to be ballet. You want to do ballet. Maybe it's teaching yourself to paint. Maybe it's learning mathematics. You want to get to this objective. I'm just gonna make it green. You want to get to this right here. This is like your objective. The thing is, each of these sections in your life, events, friends, bullshit, family, and your health, all of these, they require two things: time and focus. Each of these things, they all require time and focus. Just do this. If you're spreading yourself thin, doing all of these things at the same time, this is great. I mean, this is perfect if you want to stagnate. But imagine that you did this. I'm gonna go ahead and grab our objective and move it up here, simply because I'm not entirely sure how to rotate these various lines. So you go all of the shit and you want to get to this green objective up here, this beautiful star. But the thing is, you're over here stagnating. So this is what I did. I took the time and focus, and we're just gonna move this, no more events, and we're gonna take this one. We're gonna move this up to here. More time and focus. Time and focus. Let's say you take more of your time and focus. Rotate it left. All right. Just gonna quickly move this. We don't need the bullshit. Gonna move this over here, and boom. So this is the basic game plan if you got something you want to do. Now I'm gonna tell you the common mistake. This is an error that I see a lot of people who do this make. Personally, I think it's a mistake to disconnect the health, and I'll show you why. Imagine this is also you, but the reason why we don't want to disconnect the health is because you will die. So leave the health one. A common mistake, I know, controversial, I know, but leave the health one. I'm pretty sure if you're a human, not a reptile or other amphibian, that will benefit you. Even amphibians probably work. You don't want to disconnect this though. You don't want to disconnect the dang health. So we're going to leave that there, but essentially this was the game plan. Disconnect all these other ones for a certain period of time to reach this objective. Oh yeah, by the way, shout out to Brandon Carter for this particular concept. Improved by me, but still, the basic thing, I'll give him props for that. Anyway, essentially, this is the method that I use to attack this, like learning mathematics, teaching myself mathematics, and I'm going to show you why I decided to do it like this. I'm also going to show you evidence that this method really is effective. It really, really is. So if there's anything that you want to teach yourself that seems almost insurmountable, I'm not going to tell you to not talk to your friends, family, or whatever. But I mean, if you really want it, what can I say? On this y-axis right here, yes, this is a y-axis vertical line, and let's say this is the x-axis. Imagine that. Don't imagine. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you, baby. Over here on the y-axis. So this is just for me personally. I had. Do I make this shit bigger? Boom. Make that bigger. That's what she said. Make this bigger. So. All right. So on the y-axis, I want to teach myself enough mathematics for master's degree. Alright, so this is the graph. As you can see, all the way up here we got the level required for the master's degree, the level of mathematics for the master's degree. This axis is skill level, so starting all the way down from year 9.5, the time when I started getting my tutors to do my homework. Then over here on this x-axis is time in months. And so essentially what progress really looked like to do this was kind of like this. Kind of hovered around this baseline for an absurdly long amount of time before finally I started making a little bit of progress. And those 2 points where it started to really increase, which I'll talk about in a second, but eventually at about this mark, progress kind of started to hockey stick and grow exponentially. For all of you nerds out there, it was asymptotic, then exponential. Exponential growth after a certain amount of time. For the first about 8 months, I was doing this Bachelor of Arts degree, so I was putting a bunch of time into that, and at the same time, in all of my spare time, I was also teaching myself mathematics. So yeah, down here is Bachelor of Arts, so I had to get a decent GPA in my Bachelor of Arts in order to get into the master's degree. So I was doing full-time studying the Bachelor of Arts, so that was kind of holding this down. Okay, so then at the same time, I had what I call the full glass fallacy. Boom, full glass fallacy. So if you imagine an hourglass and you have, I don't know what you put in here. I guess it looks like this. Kind of looks like urine, doesn't it? So yeah, if you imagine an hourglass, like this full glass fallacy is the reason why you're always late. Every time you're, I don't know, at home preparing to go to work or something, and you're like, I got plenty of time, you know? I'll just, I don't know, do this other bullshit before I go. You don't have plenty of time. Not everything's gonna go right in the way like you're planning for it to. So the full glass fallacy could also be an approach to life. Like if you're someone who goes, I've got plenty of time to change my job, I can change it next year, or I can get on top of my health next year. Like constantly delaying things because you feel like you have more than enough time to do so. That's the full glass fallacy. So this is what I had major, like big time. I was so ignorant about how long it was going to take me to get this mathematics done. And I wasn't even sure I could do it because most of my report cards at school were below C, generally speaking. I was a good kid though. I was a good kid. I don't want to hear anything. So yeah, that's the full glass fallacy. This here was also, let's use the urine color, keeping me down as well, or just pulling this graph down. So at about this month here, and this was when I was finishing my Bachelor of Arts degree, that's when I thought that I would be completing the mathematics courses as well. I was wrong. And once I got here, I was still all the way down here. I had barely even pulled away from this baseline where I was meant to be all the way up at this master's level. And so I was like, shit. And I got a letter from them saying like, I don't meet the requirements to get into the course. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to do something. I'm gonna have to get serious about this. And that's when I went ninja ghost monk mode. And that goes back to this concept of aligning all of your time and focus, or as much as really is justifiable, in service of this one thing. Yeah, that kind of looks like a Christmas tree, or like something else. Over here, I still had to get this shit. I still had to get this shit done. So I went full hardcore mode, and this was extremely effective. So here I have the spreadsheet of all the hours that I spent doing mathematics, starting right from the very beginning, from last year, the 13th of the 5th, so 13th of May 2024. The only reason I'm showing you this is just to, basically number one, to show that I'm not bullshitting you about how long this took, and I didn't just, on a whim decide to leave for a year. And also to show you that the progress is incremental and exponential in terms of picking up something like this. And this is the first section, and essentially it goes basically for a few months, all the way down to the 9th. So it took me 4 months just to get through this first course. So this is part 2. What you'll start to notice is as I scroll through this, I'm not going to spend too much longer in here. See, I got through that one, and then this next one was another unit, that one. If you're noticing that the amount of time that it took me gets shorter and shorter and shorter, then part 5 this is where it starts to get interesting. By the way, this is where I went into Ghost Ninja Monk mode, and the shape, the kind of hockey stick occurred when I was doing this, and that's when I really started to make this exponential progress right here. Until basically the last section, 2 days before the end of Ghost Ninja Monk mode, it took me legit 8 days, like just over a week, to go through it all and take the exam. And so why did I show you this? It's to show you that progress in this was not linear, it was exponential, or incremental and exponential. That's the reason why I'm showing you this. Oh, there's one other thing that I want to tell you that it actually really helped, and this is gonna sound like conspiracy to you guys, but when I stopped drinking tap water, I found that it made like a really big difference. I searched the internet just to see why. There's this chemical that is put into tap water called sodium fluoride. So sodium fluoride, basically they put this stuff in the water because it's meant to harden your teeth. But what it also is a neurotoxin, and that's confirmed here. Fluoride is a neurotoxin, a toxic compound that specifically targets and affects neurons, causing neurological disorders and impairments. So essentially they're putting this sodium fluoride, which is good for your teeth, so you can have a good smile if you want, or you can just, brush your teeth. But they're putting it into tap water, and it's also a neurotoxin. And when I found this out, I was looking for any kind of way just to stack the cards in my favor. And so strictly stopping drinking, after a few weeks, I found it to be super beneficial. And I'm not understating that. If you think about it, your body's somewhere like 60% water. You make your own decisions though. I'm just telling you, for the sake of getting this out there, that was really helpful, and it really made a big difference. So yeah, that's just kind of like a side note. And we're back. Listen, I realized that I left basically mid-conversation from a lot of you guys, from a lot of my friends out there. If you're one of my friends watching this, and I understand if you're pretty pissed off, I get it. I've made peace with the fact that there's probably some of you that won't want to be in my life anymore, and that's okay. I got nothing but love for you. And anyway, will I return? My life has been and continues to be really busy, but I do plan to schedule in a few hours every week to catch up with friends and have a semblance of a social life, because I do think it is an important part of the human experience, being a human and all. And so, at a side note to this, being away from social media has been so good. It's tremendous. If you ever think about doing it, just do it. Just go for a while. It's like a burden's been lifted off your chest. And if I do come back to social media, I think it's going to be a post and go situation, so don't get butt hurt if I don't respond to you. If you have my phone number, then you probably know me at a different level. Well, that sounded a little too cool. Oh yeah, and also I realized that I've missed messages that are probably a year old. So I will get back to those if I find them. So if you're someone who's messaged me in the past year, or for anyone who has, I will look for those messages, and if I find it, I'll text you back. But listen, I gotta get out of here. I got my phone zip tied to a pole like it's a fucking hostage, and that's what I got for this video. Out.